Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel SAP SD and ABAP League Support. In one of the previous videos, we discussed about that in how many ways an IDOC can be triggered. Let me remind you the number of ways that through message control, it's nothing but output type, through function model or FM, report or program, and change pointer technique. And my friends requested me to explain how it will be triggered in case of an function model report or change pointer technique. So they are aware of only the one way, that is through output type only. So today we'll see how an IDA can be triggered through change pointer technique. So before we understand what is change pointer technique, let's see how it works first. Okay, let me log into the system. So for example, I am trying to modify one customer address. I am going to the transaction code VD02. I'm giving the customer number and selecting the sales area of the customer and click on OK. As I'm in S4 system, so VD02 is directly redirected to the BP transaction. Okay, so what I will do in the general data, I will change the name here. For example, currently the name is Shaik BP122. I will change it as Shaik BP1223. I have changed it now and I will save the data. Okay, changes has been saved now. The expectation from business is that whenever any changes happens in the customer master. So in today's video, I am discussing about an example of customer master, but business might have different expectations like any changes happen in the material or vendor or plant data, right? Order, delivery, anything, any changes happen in any of the transaction, then they want to receive the data, that data which has been changed as an IDOC data or XML data. If it goes to PI means definitely PI will convert that as an XML file, and if a business want to receive the flat file means that also can be done by PA team only, right? So however it reaches to the end customer, the vendor, from our end SAP end, we should simply trigger one IDOC whenever changes happens in the customer master level. Any changes. Okay. As of now, I have changed the name of the customer. Now what I will do, I will use one transaction code that is BD21. And here I need to specify the message type. So remember that we have several message types are available, right? ORDRS for order create, incoming IDOC interface. ORDRSP is an order response acknowledgement is 855 interface, and order change ORDR, so ORD has CHG order change, right? And invoice INVOIC, these were outbound IDOC of an invoice output type, right? Like this for address change of an customer master it is ADR MES. So this is the message type for customer master address changes, ADR MES. So what I'm going to do in BD21 transaction code, I will simply enter the message type ADR MES, right? And if I execute, Okay, so either we can use the T code BD21 or we can use the report, that is RBDM IDOC. If execute this, both are same. See, both are same. T code is BD21 and the background report for the T code is RBDM IDOC. Now I'm going to execute this one. I'm just giving simply the message type and executing now. So once execute, I'm getting one message saying that three master IDOCs set up for the message type ADR MAS. Now let's see any IDOC created or not now. Let me go to WE02. I'm giving today's date and direction is outbound, right? That means one, and logical message is ADR MAS, and if I click execute, okay, let me sort it in descending order. Okay, 8:18. Let me go to system time now. You see, just 1 minute back, almost not less than 1 minute back. So currently the time is 8:19:38, and the IDOC triggered at 8:18:58. So, and we received a message saying that three message IDOC has been identified. That means these are the three. These are the three that has been identified and IDOC has been triggered. If I double click here, you see the message type is ADR MAS and basic type is ADR MS03. This is the change that has been triggered. And you see the change here. The name, I have updated the name as Shaikh-BP 1223. I have added 3 here. So what I will do, I will do one more change now. I will make it as 1234. Let me go to VD02 and click on OK. It will move to BP now. General data. Let me make it as 12234 and I will save now. Again, I will run the same report or BD21 transaction code by adding the message type ADR MAS. If I execute, I'm getting the message saying that three master IDOCs set up for the message type ADR MAS. Now let me go to W02. You see, this is the old one. We will see 1223 name, right? And let me execute one more time, and we can see the recent one that is triggered at 8:21. Three more has been triggered, and if I open it, data records, and you see the changes what I have carried out has been captured as an IDOC and it has been transferred to the receiver BMI CLNT 100. So this is the one way of triggering the IDOCs. It's a change pointer config. Okay, this is about the change pointer, but now let's see how to configure these things and all and how the system works. Okay, first thing to need to in order to work with this change pointers, first we should configure the distribution model. So we need to define the distribution model. Transaction code is BD64. Let me open BD64 now. BD64. So I need to configure the sender and the receiver information. Then only the change pointer program, the BD12, will recognize that what kind of data that we're pushing. Then it will identify the sender and receiver address details and all. Okay, so I have already created one entry here as a test. But anyways, for your understanding, I will do it one more time. Go to change mode, current display mode, go to change mode, then click create model view, make it as test 1, for example, and technical name also test 1, and click on ok. Now it has been added. Now we need to add the BOPy here. Add BOPy. First create the model view name, then click the add BOPy. Add BOPy sender. We need to mention the sender and receiver details. Sender is my system SCA2 CLNT 100, and receiver is BMI CLNT 100, and okay. So for any address data of the customer will be sent through an BOPy only, not through the message type. Okay, the BOPy and the business object method will identify the relevant message type automatically. Let me show you what I mean. The object is bus 4001 for this customer master address data change, and the method is save replica. This is the object or interface. This is the replica. Click OK. So what it is saying that this combination method and object is already exist in the existing model view test. That's what it is saying. So it won't allow us to create the duplicate entries. Okay, but this is how we should create. If you click OK means it will create. But let me show you the existing one test, and here you see that this is the sender and this is the receiver. If you click one more time, you see address org save replica. Click one more time, and if I double click on this address org save replica, you see the object type, method, and you see that system automatically pulling the message type ADRMAS based on the object, right? Yeah. So this is the config that we should do. This is the important config required in case of change pointer technique. Based on this config only, system will identify the sender and receiver information for the relevant message type, right? Yeah. The second one is that we need to activate the change pointer technique. The transaction code is BD61, and this information, whatever we do in BD61, will be stored in the database table TBDA1. Let me go to the BD61 transaction code BD61. So we need to enable this checkbox. Change pointers activated. Change pointers activated. If this is unchecked, then change pointer won't work, right? So we should keep this in mind. This is the basic test config that we should do. Must. This is the first thing, and same thing we can see in the table TBDA1. You see, if I click execute, you see it is active. If I uncheck there and then save it and come here means it will become blank, right? This is the second config in change pointer concept. Okay. Third one is activate the change pointer message type wise. The transaction code for this one is BD50, and the backend database table which will be storing this information is TBDA2. Let me go to BD50 now. So BD50. So in BD50 we see all the available message types, and the backend database table which will be storing all of this message type is EDI In EDI we see all the message types available in the system, right? So here in this BD50 50 transaction code, we should enable this checkbox for the relevant message type. So our message type is ADR MAS. See, it has been enabled. It has been enabled, right? So if we do the config only in this BD61, and if we don't do any config in BD50 means it won't work. So we should do everything. So here we should enable it for ADR MAS as an active flag here and save it. And this information will be stored in the TBD A2 table. TBD A2. Sorry, TBD A2. Yeah. So here also we can see whether any flag whether this is activated or not. You see, it has been activated. It's a TBD A2, right? And the last change that we should do is that, so we should specify which fields the change pointer should trigger. So activate the fields under message types. The transaction code is BD52 and the database table is TBD62. TBD62. Okay, let me go to BD52. Okay, in BD52, in the initial screen, I should enter the message type ADRMAS. And you see here, there are some predefined fields already available based on the object and table combination. So whenever we do changes to these fields, then only the change pointer will trigger. If we are doing any changes to any custom field, for example, the customer master has one custom field, okay, but the custom field is not added here in BD52, then what will happen? Change pointer won't trigger. That won't trigger at all, right? So the fields whatever defined in this BD52 transaction code, though for those field changes only, change pointer will be triggered. That means IDOC will be triggered. The table is TBD, sorry, TBD62. And if I give the message type ADRMAS and execute, I see all the available fields table wise, right? Let me review that one more time. Distribution model should be defined in a BD64 table, sorry, transaction code. Second is that we need to globally activate the change pointer technique, that is BD61, and then activate the change pointer for message type wise. This is also one of the important. And the last one is to include the fields for which we want to trigger the change pointer. If you think that for some other fields, if you don't want to trigger a change pointer, you can simply remove that field from this BD52 transaction code. And the backend, the T code to process this, that BD21, and the backend program is RBDM IDOC. Right, this is the T code and the report. So in basically in projects, right, we will be configuring this report as a background job based on the message type. So this program runs and it will try to recover the data, and then it will try to process it. Okay, this is the basic config required. And one more thing I would like to highlight is that, let me do one more change now. That is BD, sorry, BD02. Okay, and general data. Now make it as 5 and save it. Okay, so now I would like to tell you one more important thing is that whenever we click save, we are doing some changes here and we are clicking save here, right? So at this point of time, some programs triggers in the background. Let me tell you that. So several functional models will be triggered in the background. That is ALE component underscore check. So ALE component check. So this functional model will be triggered to verify whether the change pointer has been activated globally or not from the table TBDA1. This is the first FM will be triggered. Second one is that change change document underscore close. Let me show in the system SC37 change document close. This is the one. If I open this, so remember this function model will be triggered when we save any changes in the customer master level. Then system will verify whether any changes written or not. Okay, so this is the function model will be triggered, right? And one more function model that will be triggered is that what is that? ALE component check. You see, in this function model, it's validating from TBDA1 whether it is X or not. If it is active, then only this will be, then only the entire next flow will be started. This is the first function model, and change document close, and one more is that change document open. And the next one is that we need to store the change logs in the database tables. That is what are the tables available here now? Database table, that is BDC, sorry, BDC P2. Okay, what I will do in BDC P2, I will give my username, and if I execute, okay, so I will start in descending order. Activation time, let me put, yeah. So remember this important table BDC P2. Whenever we do any changes in the customer master level and save that customer, then this table will be added one entry will be added into this table BDCP2. How this will be added? This will be added with help of these function models. One more also is there, change pointers underscore create. One more is that change underscore pointers underscore create underscore long. So these function models are responsible to store some data into this BDCP2 table. It's a change pointer table. If you closely observe here, right, the first is message type. So it's a ADR MES. So system will define wherever we do the changes, system will automatically retrieve the message type for that. And it's ADR MES. Then change pointer number. It's kind of number range that will system generate automatically, and this is a processing indicator. And if you see here, this is I triggered last two times, first time and second time. Initially it will be blank. If I run the report in BD21, if I run the report in BD21 or RBDM IDOC program, then it will become X. I'll show you that also. And it is showing for which customer the variable key have been changed and which field that have been modified, the date, the time, and the user, the object, and the object value, right, and document number and change. So here it's an update. We're updating something in the existing customer. So based on this data only, the BD21 transaction code will work. Let me run the BD21. BD21. Let me give the message type and click execute. Three master IDOCs set up for the message type ADR MAS. If I see that BDCP2 table, it will become X now. Let me refresh now. Let me sort in descending order. You see, it has been enabled now. That means the X indicating saying that it has been processed. If it is blank means not yet processed. So based on this BDCP2 table only, the BD21 T code will work, right? It's kind of log table. So BDCP2 is nothing but a log table which will be used to process the IDOCs. So that's it about this. So we already know about this output type, how it will trigger, and change pointer also we discussed it now. And in upcoming sessions, we'll see how IDOC will be triggered with help of FM or reporter program. Okay, thanks everyone. We'll meet in the next video.